Farming is a major source of livelihood to over 1 billion people in the African continent. And agriculture has always been in the Nigerian blood. It has a rich tradition in the Nigerian family. In Nigeria, over 30% are employed in agriculture. Long before the advent of crude oil, Nigeria was a leading food basket on the African continent. For example, Nigeria was a leading exporter of cocoa, palm oil, rice, cotton, sorghum, groundnut and soybean. But with the discovery of crude oil, farming became less attractive as oil revenue arrived overnight. This remains one of the most painful economic missteps in Nigeria's history. However, the race is on to rebuild Nigeria's food basket communities. Olive International Agricultural Foundation for Women and Youth Empowerment, a non-governmental organization, is one of the emerging community operatives that are daring to make a difference in some of Nigeria's most vulnerable family communities. They want to set a new frontier on the Nigerian farming borders, going to where government may not have reached.
The NGO actually started in 2015 and was officially incorporated in February 2018. The major aim of the NGO is to see that the welfare and well-being of women and youth, who happen to be the most marginalized segment of the society and the economy, are brought into mainstream for an inclusive growth of the society generally. The major aim, like I said, is to empower women and youth through training and empowerment in the field of agriculture, so that every one of them will now have sources of livelihood that they can fall back to.
Farming that the average Nigerian mother will have in her backyard, a little poultry, a little garden. Yes, I did farm. But that gave the background for this foundation, this NGO that we are trying to push forward. If you've benefited from that little thing at your backyard, you've benefited from that little garden in your house, that little poultry in your house, you realize that there can be a bigger benefit that everybody generally can have. You can have a little poultry, you have a little idea, but with Olivia Farm, you can actually make it bigger.
Olive International Agricultural Foundation for Women and Youth Empowerment represents the shared determination of millions small family holders who need a medium to come together.
Now, when you talk about empowerment, you have to first of all carry out a needs assessment of the particular persons you want to train. You look at their environment, you look at the availability of these resources they have around them, and we basically dwell on the core rural dwellers. Those we know have total lack of access to basic amenities. These are the persons that we all know have been marginalized in our country today. And so because they actually don't have people that will bring succor to them, they have been shut out of the economy in a way. And these are the persons we are actually trying to reach out to. And so we try to identify them through their various group. We also meet them through their district or village heads. These are the persons who will all identify these poor people for us. We now look at how we could select them, put them through our training program, impart in them, also give them startup inputs and capital in a way to start up smallholder farms in various aspects of agriculture.
Since 2015 we have been doing this before this formal launching, and I can confirm to you that we have trained not less than 500 women and youths in various aspects of livestock farming, especially poultry farming, swine production, snailery, cattle breeding and all whatnot.
The NGO, like many other non-governmental organizations, is slowly taking roots, and its time has come.
I learned this poultry farm from the Olive International Agricultural Foundation for Women and Youth Empowerment. So it have been a very good support to my family, because when we bring the chicks, we used to bring them from a day old, then we breed them up, and then is very good, because once you you didn't lose much of them. You can be able to get something out of it.
Part of what we do at Olive International Agricultural Foundation is to see to it that all these crops produced by the people we train, we bring them together, like I said, under clusters or cooperative. And once we train them and empower them with inputs, part of what we intend doing is to get these raw materials off them. We process these raw materials into finished products, packaged, duly packaged, and then sold as finished product. That is what I mean by this, that we get ourselves involved in the entire value chain. Because one of the major bane of agriculture in Nigeria today is the area of market. Once these persons farm, they actually don't get off-takers. They actually don't get people to buy these crops from them. And so because some of these crops are perishable in nature, what we intend doing, and that is why we are going into the area of skill acquisition center, so that where they learn this skill acquisition center, we help them with the equipment we have been able to acquire to process these raw materials into finished products. And these products will now be packaged and sold to the general public. This way, it's like a holistic approach to agriculture. That is what we intend doing.
They have engaged in training of village farmers and young graduates in the Karo local government area of Nasarawa State, Nigeria. Their trainings have the capacity to empower participants, seize the bull by the horn, and inspire a new generation of farmers, bringing hundreds of people out of the strange hold of poverty.
If you look at most of the issue of poverty in this country is concentrated in the rural areas. So most of our trainings are going to be concentrated on those rural dwellers in those areas of livestock farming. We're going to be training them, helping them to at least set up at least a backyard farm, either poultry, snail, swine. Some of these things don't cost much.
It has come to the point and to the knowledge of we as Olive how the masses have been sidelined in terms of assessing government ways of improving humanity. So that has really prompted us to see how we can raise individuals back to their feet, make individuals make use of the very available lands that God has given to them, and go beyond even the farming knowledge of agriculture.
Olive International Agricultural Foundation for Women and Youth Empowerment is also working with villagers to develop arable lands and boosting food production.
Ga damuwa mu muna noma ba taki. Damuwa mu samu taki saboda cin gaba. Muna son taimako su maganin feshi duka saboda mu nema cin gaba ne. Mun yi doya kuma mukan kai siyarwa, to ba taki baya zama manya, sai mun kai shi haka duk da an siya muna siyar da shi.
I've been get 10 cows when they take care of. So if you see the cows, and the reason why they die, they get some baba grass within they eat, we no good for their system. And I need to inject them after they want like go outside. So my inject them, make them flush the system.
What we basically do in this NGO is to see how we could cover as much aspect we can. The area of livestock, whereby we have a program manager for livestock, who is one of our core competent members of the team. We also have a program manager for the crop production, who also has vast knowledge in the area of agriculture. So these persons come together to form the core members of the team of Olive International. And so what we do is we also collaborate with other NGOs, because it's something we cannot do alone as an NGO. And so because of areas of expertise where we actually don't have strength, basically what we do is to form partnership and collaboration with other NGOs so that we can draw from their strength and draw from their areas of expertise to form a wider network of NGOs training and empowering women and youth in agriculture.
In the near future, funding and resource mobilization for village farmers, including microfinancing for women and youths, is in the works. They are working to take community family cooperatives to the next level in north-central Nigeria, a region rich in corn, groundnut and rice for decades.
Poverty has ravaged the fabrics of every aspect of the nation's economy. And it's as a result of all of this that we thought it wise that as an NGO, we look out ways that we can really empower these persons who actually form part of the rural poor, who are involved in agricultural activities. Because majority, over 70% of the real people into farming are the rural dwellers, and they are all peasant farmers. So we look at these ones who actually have been marginalized, who don't have sources of market, who actually find it very difficult to access credit facilities, who also are shut out from the wider picture of empowerment and sources of income.
If we stay in town, we would not find those people. That's the essence of the exposure we are trying to give Olive Forward. We can actually go out there, search for those people that need that empowerment, that need that support. And when we find them, we train them. We are not just a body that wants to get people on the farm, get them to do something, but we educate them on how to do it, the way to do it, and how to get the best results. That's what we are out for. It's not just to get people, but to get them to the point where we desire them to be and where they desire to see themselves.
The future is great with Olive International Agricultural Foundation for Women and Youth Empowerment. And this may well lay down the foundation for a farming movement that could one day feed generations of Nigerians.